Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kamilla and you're watching Kamilla's Yoga. Today I have a special video for you guys. It has been requested so many times and I'm excited to finally release it. I have conducted so much research in advance for this particular video. Some of it I knew already and some of it I actually had to learn specifically for this video, and I needed to really dive deep into this topic. Today is not a class per se, it's not a flow. Today I am just talking about different stretches that can stretch your quads without hurting your knee. It is important for me to emphasize that because I'm doing this on a very general basis, all movements and all exercises or stretches may not work for you, and that needs to be okay. All right. So if you try any of them and 1, 2, 3, maybe all of them, they don't feel okay to you, well, then you need to just let that one go and you need to use the ones that actually work for you. If none of them work for you, then I strongly advise you to contact a professional near you who can help you on an individual one-to-one basis. So let's talk about knee and knee pain. I'm not going to go too much into why people experience knee pain and knee discomfort, but it's important to talk about, or just to mention, that people experience pain and discomfort for different reasons and in different ways. Some people experience it by simply bending the knee to its full capacity. So some people will feel pain just because the knee, I cannot bend my knee more now. I cannot. My heel is touching my bum. I cannot bend it more. Okay? Or maybe if I pulled my knee back, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, I can hardly bend my knee further. And this may be okay to some. What may be the problem for some people is simply leaning the knee on the earth like this with weight on it. In order to stretch the quads, we need to bend the knee. Okay, we need to bend the knee back. That's the way we stretch the quads. And that is why stretching the quads when you're experiencing knee pain and discomfort can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to show you some of the things I know and some of the things I've learned through my research, and hope that this will help you guys. Now, unfortunately, many of the most common stretches for the quads involve one knee on the ground with weight on it and then dropping and falling into the hip like this one. I understand why some people feel discomfort in their knee in this position, okay? Another one would be to be in a pigeon variation and just bending the knee like this. And that can also hurt the knee a great deal. So hopefully these positions that I'm going to show you today are going to be sufficient for you to stretch your quads. The quads consist of 4 muscles here, and we need to stretch all of them to really work the quads. So in some of these positions, you will feel it in the center of the quad, and some of them, you may feel it on the inside or the outside of the quad. They're all just as good for you, okay? What you don't want to focus on is having the sensation close to the knee here. It may not hurt you, but this is where you feel the stretch, or the top of the thigh all the way to the hip here. Now, of course, stretching the hip area, the front of the hip, the psoas here, the hip flexors, is also a good thing, and it may be your goal. But let's see for these exercises if we can keep it at the kind of core or the center, the heart of the muscle. That does not mean the center of your thigh with respect to kind of in the middle here. It can also be on the sides here, but it needs to be not too close to the knee, not too close to the hip. Okay, unless that hip flexor here is where you want to stretch, then you go for it. So what do you say? Let's jump right into it and stretch those quads. The first stretches I'm going to show you, you need to be standing up. So if you need something to help you balance, you go and find something you can hold onto, and then you do these movements from there. So the first one I'm going to show you is probably going to be quite familiar to many people. It is a quad stretch where you lean your weight over onto one leg. You can bend that standing leg if you like, and you bend the leg you want to stretch, and then you hold onto that foot. Now, in this position, we often say, move your heel to your bum, your hips forward, and your knee back. You can hold onto the leg with both feet. If this version is okay to you, then that is what you do. But a lot of people will feel tension in their knee in this variation. So what I would like you to do then is move your heel away from your bum, and then instead lean a little bit forward in your upper body. And this is where you might need help to balance. You can also bend your standing leg. You will still feel a stretch in the quad. You move your knee kind of back and up. You shoot your hips forward. The angle in your knee in this position is going to be less intense than if you bend it all the way. You can see how my knee has a milder bend here than here. And that is a way to relieve your knee from that discomfort in this position. And you can explore here, you can move even further forward. And if you want that, you can press your foot into your hand, and this will continue to stretch the front of your thigh. If you are going to move even further forward with your upper body, I suggest instead of taking on the pinky side of your foot, you grab on the inside, so on the big toe side, and then you lean forward and you press your foot into your hand. Of course, you may need somewhere to balance, and the idea here is to really press the foot into the hand, but you don't need this kind of version. You may just want to be here, press your hips forward, your knee back a little bit, and then your heel away from your glutes. The second exercise or stretch I'm going to show you is a similar variation to the one we just did, but instead of grabbing your leg with the same hand, you're going to grab your leg with the opposite hand. So I'm going to change sides now. So I'm going to be standing on my left leg. I'm going to bend my right leg, and instead of grabbing it with the same hand here, I'm going to hold on to the leg with the opposite hand. All right. And again, you might need something to help you balance. That's fine. And same here, you press your hips forward and your knee kind of back. Now, for some people, it will be fine to have your heels and your glutes close together. But if that's not okay to you, you start moving that heel away from your glutes, you bend your standing leg, and you start tilting your upper body forward. A tip I have for you here, and this is key in basically any movement you do. If you feel discomfort in your knee, try to activate your foot, okay? So this is a passive foot. I'm not doing anything with my foot. It's just hanging there. But if I flex it, it's active. And if I point it, it's active. I'm engaging my foot. Now I want you to do that in that position. So I'm going to show you from here. So you grab the foot with the opposite hand, and I'm flexing it. See, I'm engaging my toes here. And then that will protect my knee even further. So as I'm leaning forward here, engaging my core here and engaging my glutes, I'm active in my standing leg, and I'm pressing my foot into my hand. This activation in the feet or in the foot will prevent even more pain coming to my knee. All right? So that's another tip I have for you. Another thing that I will recommend you to do is every time you are letting go of your leg, in any thigh stretch position you do, activate your leg. So instead of just dropping my leg and letting it fall, See, that could potentially hurt my feet and it could potentially hurt my knee more. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage my leg as I'm letting it go, because then the respective leg, can control the landing of itself. Okay, that's a tip for you in any stretch that you do. The third position or stretch that I'm going to show you involves the couch, hence the angle of the camera today. You don't need to use a couch. You can use a chair or a bench or a table. But if you are using something with a hard surface, please put something on top of it, because we don't want to hurt this knee. So I am using the couch. This could be too soft for some people. So be aware that if what you are using is too soft, then maybe put something underneath the pillow that is a little bit harder or something like that, so it's not hurting your knee further. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come to a seated position on this couch. So you see now, this is actually a little bit too kind of soft for me, because you can see, maybe if I sit from here, you can see that it's not a 90-degree angle in my knee. That is the ideal angle we want to have. Now my bum falls down further than my knees. Ideally, that's not what we want, so this is something you can be mindful of. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out kind of like on the edge of my seat, and I'm going to take the leg that I want to stretch and I'm going to put it on the couch. So for me, I can just send it around like this, and then I can put it into the couch like that. Okay, now you may need to find another way to kind of enter into this position. So you may want to hold on to something, a wall or anything. Maybe you put a chair if there's not a wall available to you. You hold on to something. Make sure that the front leg is stepping forward a little bit. You don't want it all the way touching the couch. You want it forward. Now you help yourself with the balancing, and then you take the leg that you want to stretch and you place it on the couch and you kind of slide further down. Now, this is where you don't want to put pressure on your knee, right? Because that's what we're trying to avoid. A way to do that, or to avoid that, is to have something in front of you then you can lean into. Now I'm going to use the floor for that, and I'm leaning my weight into the floor to slide my thigh onto the couch, resting my shin alongside the back of the couch. Okay, so find a way to enter this position that works for your knee, okay? Now, when you're here, as you can see, this front leg is quite a lot forward. I want to keep that 90-degree angle in my front leg, and this is quite intense. We don't want to sit on this front seat here, okay? So I have my left leg forward. I don't want to sit on my left bum. No, I want my hips squared, and if it's too intense, you can come forward a little bit, and this may be enough for you. This may be a huge stretch for you, and if you feel it on the back side of your leg, that's just a bonus, okay? Now, you can start lifting your upper body up. You can use your thigh for that, or you can have a chair in front of you, and you can start lifting yourself up. Now, for me, I have quite a lot of flexibility in my quads already, so I can start just lifting myself up like this. Also, I don't have knee pain. Actually, that's not true. I do have some discomfort from an old injury in this back leg here, so I'm not too unaware of discomfort in the knee. Now, this is really good for the knee because the knee is quite in a wide and open angle. What could potentially hurt your knee in this position is if your couch is like mine and your knee kind of falls down. So if my knee is kind of the lowest point, well, more pressure is going to come into my knee than if I have less kind of weight into my knee and the knee is at an even, or even not possibly higher, but an even height to my hips and my front knee. But for me right now, this bottom knee is lower than my front knee. That's not ideal. But unless it hurts your knee and you feel that discomfort, well, it may not be a problem for you. I'm just saying that that could be an issue for some people, and you may want to be aware of this. To come out of this position, of course, you find your way, but you may want to lean kind of forward and sliding forward off the couch, and then using the standing leg to come down, and then roll all the way up to a standing position. For this next position, we are coming down to the floor on our mat. The first position I want to show you on the floor is a similar position to the first and second pose we did, but it's just a lying down version. So what I want you to do is I want you to come on the side of your body. So you choose a side. Okay, just laying down like this. I want you to bring that bottom leg to a 90-degree angle, and that is important. Okay, so you don't have to keep it all the way to a 90-degree, but it needs to be further forward than the upper body, okay? Because what you're going to do now with your upper hand, you're going to grab your bottom leg and you're going to stretch your quads like this. Okay, so what is going to happen here is that I want you again to press the hips forward, the knee, the left knee or the top knee back, and then moving your back heel as close or as far away from your bum as you need. The reason I want this front leg or the bottom leg to the front is because if you lay down like this and the bottom leg is the same location or kind of straight line as your body, and then you try, it's very hard to balance. Okay, so you're kind of keeping all your focus on balancing. So that's why we just bend that knee and we use that to stabilize, and you can keep the foot exactly where you need it to be, and then you stretch it here. You can also come onto here and work from here. So obviously you want to continue to not feel anything in your knee, and if you do, you need to come out of the movement or the position. But if this is okay for you, you can also see if you can press the foot a little bit more into the hand, activate the feet like we spoke of before, and pressing the hip forward, the knee back, and you should feel a stretch in your quads. The next position that I want to show you is called hero pose in yoga, and this is one of those positions that it may not be suitable for everyone. It depends what kind of discomfort and pain you're experiencing in your knee and when it kind of is experienced by you, okay? So if you experience pain only by putting pressure on your knee here, then this could be a position for you. But if you experience pain in the knee simply from bending it too much, you may not find this position as beneficial. But let's try it and see how we go. So what I want you to do is I want you to start in a seated position. From here, you keep your legs forward, your glutes to the earth. I want you to pull your seat muscles back a little bit. Okay? What happens then is that you kind of create more tilt in the pelvic floor, and your sit bones are rooted further into the earth than if you don't pull them back. All right? Now you're going to bring one of your legs, you choose which one, to the back. All right? I want you to keep the heel outside of the hip. Now this is where some of you may experience discomfort in your knee, and then that this is not the position for you. But if that's not the case and this feels okay for you, you continue the position. So what I want you to do next is activate that left or that other leg, the straight leg. Okay, so we keep it activated, toes to the sky. I start walking my hands back and I come as far back as I can go. What is important here is to not lift your knee off the ground. I want you to keep your knee on the earth and then walk back. Now, of course, some people can come quite far back and some people can lay all the way down. That's not what we need to do. Well, necessarily. We just want to feel a stretch in our quads. If you feel the stretch is happening around your knee area here, and that can happen to anyone, whether you experience discomfort or pain in your knee or not. So if you are experiencing the sensation in a top of your knee here, then you need to come into a more mild variation of the pose. So if I go all the way down, let's say here, I may experience it in the front of my knee. Okay, then that's a sign for me to come up here. And of course, if you feel okay to lift your knee and that doesn't hurt your ankle, doesn't hurt your knee, doesn't hurt your hip, then that's okay. What you may want to do then is just put a pillow underneath here so that instead of hanging in the air like this, you're actually resting it on something. It may just be the angle that is more workable for you. And then you hold this for approximately 3 to 10 breaths. And you come up and you release yourself from the position and you do the other side. The final position that I'm going to show you today is a variation of what we call bow pose in yoga. And you may need a strap or a belt for this one. I would recommend a strap. If you have a yoga strap, then that's great. If not, use a belt, something that you can create a circle that you can tighten and loosen quite easily, okay? We're not going to pull too much on it, so it's not going to be painful to you, but you just need that to make this position easier for you to access. So we are going to lay down on the belly. Okay, now some people can come onto the elbows and they're fine here. The risk in this position is, of course, the knee. We don't want to feel any pain or discomfort in the knee. But the other area in this position that you may feel something is in the lower back. And having a sensation in the lower back is not necessarily a bad thing, but we don't want to feel a biting pain. Okay, if you feel a pain, you need to come out. If you just, like when I'm lying here, I may feel a sensation. Okay, so I feel my lower back. I feel that I have a lower back. For the rest of the day, when I don't do this position, I'm not aware of my lower back at every time or hour of the day. Right now, I'm very aware of my lower back, and if I come higher, yep, okay, my lower back is there. It doesn't hurt me, so I'm fine, but I can feel it. There's a difference. But if this is too much for you, all right, well, you're going to come down all the way here, laying down, and you're going to do the position from here. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to bend one leg, and this is the quad you're going to stretch. And then with the same hand, you're going to hold it. And now you can see if you can make the heel come closer to the bum. So again, we don't want to have it too close if that is painful to your knee. But if this is not a way that you can hurt your knee, some people only hurt their knee by putting weight on it like this, then this is fine. And this is a stretch for you. If you need a deeper stretch in this position, you move your hand from the pinky side to the big toe side or even to the top, and you move your heel to the outside of your hip. This is stretching my quads, and I'm not experiencing anything in my knee. But if that's not the case for you, you need to come out. And then what you need to do is experience with this strap or the belt that we collected earlier. So what I want you to do is I want you to make this circle, and I want you to move it around here. Move it to the top of your foot, not your toes, but not all the way down. You can experiment a little bit with this, and I want you to just come here. Okay, and of course, if this is discomfort to your lower back, okay, we need to come all the way down. And then what I want you to do is I want you to just move this as much as you need to. And remember, by flexing the foot, you are protecting your knee even further. So you may need to flex your foot as you're doing this position, and this could potentially stretch your quads a great deal. What you can also think about is keeping the knees together. The closer the knees are, the more intense it's going to feel, at least for most people, okay? But if you're not feeling anything still and you feel pain when you move it closer, when you move the heel closer to the bum, what you can do is the same thing we did in a previous position, and that is to press your foot into it and then balance here. And this could be a wonderful quad stretch for you. Activate the leg as you come down, laying it down, and then do the other side. But these last two positions may not be workable for everyone. So if it's not the movement for you, and if not the stretch for you, then that's okay. You've experienced it, you've experimented, and you've discovered that, okay, this is not for me, and that's fine. But for some of you, you may like these two last ones as well, and it may not hurt your knee at all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and please leave a comment below if you have any thoughts or experiences that you think I need to know about, positive or negative. I am up for it. So, like I said in the beginning, if you feel any pain or discomfort in any of these positions, come out of them immediately with an active leg, and then just leave that position and say that it's not for you, and maybe try it in 6 or 12 months time, okay? And if none of these worked for you and you are still longing to stretch those quads, please find a professional near you that can help you on an individual one-to-one basis. Thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful day. Namaste.